You are now tuned in to Unscripted Podcast.
Crank it up. Crank it up.
Hey. We back. Niggas, we back. How y'all doing?
Hey guys, did you miss us after that week break?
Y'all was scared, didn't y'all? Y'all was like, these bitches.
Y'all thought we went on another hiatus, didn't y'all? We didn't.
We didn't. I just didn't have a voice. I was sick like a mug.
And my ass was turd.
Sick, and so we was sick and motherfucking tired.
It was just like y'all get when y'all don't feel like doing
y'all
shit.
get. I'm still kind of sick though.
I can
like,
tell.
yeah, I'm very congested. In case you guys don't know who you're listening to, I am Lish.
No, you're not. Who are you?
I am a Latte Vagina.
This is Mildred and Lindsay.
And you are listening to
Unscripted Podcast.
Hot 69.9 FM. The wettest station on the planet. Splash!
Did you say the wettest station? Oh my God.
Yep.
We gonna get a lot of hits on this. Like ghetto gaggers.
Oh my God. So did I tell you on the podcast the Ghetto Gaggers is literally our most famous episode? It has the most downloads.
I wonder why.
I bet people were so pissed when they figured out that there was nothing going on that they thought was going on.
Like, what did they expect? It's audio. Like phone, like podcast sex? Instead of phone sex, it's podcast sex?
Like that ASMR shit. Like, they were expecting us to be like, hey, daddy. Hey, baby. Hey, I heard you making that noise.
Wait, hold up.
Macaroni and cheese sound. Yeah, so I guess that's what they expected to hear. I don't know, but I know they were pissed when they were playing, and they was like, okay, when are we going to get to the gagging part? Because the gag is
I thought it was
it's
bad.
just us, nigga. It's just us. Psych. You know, we're like the Black American princesses of the podcast realm. I'm coming more and more to realize that.
Yeah, we are. Y'all don't believe us, but we are.
We literally are the BAPs. Like, and I'm not talking about Black Astronaut Podcast. Shout out to them. And why is it every time that you ask Teddy about it, you always call them the Black American Podcast?
You know, when I first ever heard, when, you know, met Teddy and he was like, yeah, I listen to the Black Astronauts. I'm like,
Mae
Johnson got a podcast? Yeah, Mae Jameson got a podcast?
Who's she on there with? Neil deGrasse Tyson?
I was like, that's so nice. I mean, I bet they inspiring people.
He's so smart.
About space and shit.
He's so smart.
Turned out, I was like, so when I listened to them, I'm like, so none of these niggas are astronauts.
Nobody is an astrophysicist on this bitch. Nobody.
No Stephen Hawking. Y'all ain't talking about this shit.
Nigga, boom shakalaka. So speaking of real
Black
quick,
American.
Black American podcast. But speaking of, and y'all know we are totally random. This is Unscripted Podcast. Number 1, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, you could be anywhere in the world, but your standards are low, so you're here with us, and we totally appreciate that shit. Please continue to connect with us on all social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter, UnscriptedCast. You can find us Unscripted Podcast on Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram. We are UnscriptedCast, and you can email us unscriptedky@gmail.com. And last but not least, you can find our bomb-ass website at unscriptedcast.com, which missed opportunity for it to be unscriptedcast.com, but nobody's perfect.
I'm sorry, damn.
Nobody's perfect. So
nobody's perfect, baby.
And another thing, speaking of Black Astronauts podcast and Neil deGrasse Tyson and astrophysics and space, the beloved Stephen Hawking passed away.
Yeah, rest in peace, Stephen Hawking.
Rest in peace. Yes, one of the greatest minds ever that we know of passed away. And was it because of a heart condition?
I don't think they
did
said
they not
anything.
disclose what it was?
No, but no, they didn't really say.
Okay.
And I was like, he was only 75, I think.
Yep.
And he died on Pi Day.
Yep.
Which was also the day that Albert Einstein was born.
Yep.
So my friend Bruce was like, something cosmic is happening or about to happen right now.
Well, don't forget, and also Craig Mack passed away yesterday, and he brought us flavor in your ears. So,
oh my God! So it comes in threes. Who's next?
That
is a random bunch. It's going to heaven right now.
Trump's career, hopefully.
I don't want them associated with Craig Mack and Stephen Hawking.
Well, I don't want anybody to pass away either.
No.
I don't know, but it's so sad.
It is. And this, it's good to see like all the, everybody paying their respects, from Bill Nye, Neil, NASA, I think the royal family. Yeah, a lot of people really are. President Barack Obama, they all are paying their respects, which it should. He contributed a lot. Big Bang Theory, I heard the cast of Big Bang Theory. Get it? They pay their respects to him as well. So, yeah. Even I think The Simpsons did as well, because he did a guest spot on that show too. So he was up until that age, he was a busy guy.
Yep.
Like he worked a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was like, again, one of the most critical thinkers of our time. There's only a few of them left that we know of, because it's not to say that no one, there was this, it was funny. It's crazy to me when you see people who did not grow up in urban communities and diverse communities talking about who's a genius and who's not, because this guy said that there's really no geniuses left on the planet, and this other guy was like, how do you know that? Like, we don't know if there are any other geniuses. A lot of people who are geniuses are deemed as being mentally unstable. A lot of them don't. Yeah, weird. A lot of them don't have the support that they need, And yes, Stephen Hawking was able to do everything that he was able to do with ALS. But at the same time, there are so many people out there who have other things that keep them from being able to reach their full potential, as far as, academically and culturally and everything else. There's a lot of people that don't have access to things that other people do. So you can't say, that there are no more left. He said it like he was the last genius. No, he was one of the greatest thinkers. That is no doubt whatsoever. But there are so many people out there who probably have the capacity, or they just have it in them to be great, but for whatever reason, whatever their story is, a lot of them won't actually ever have that opportunity to reach their full potential of greatness. And I think that that's really the sad part. So that's what these guys were kind of going back and forth about. He was like, there's a lot of geniuses, just because he was one specific kind of genius. He was an astrophysicist. Like, that's one particular type of, you know, mathematician, all that. That's one particular type of thing. But there are so many other great thinkers out there. The problem is we just don't know about them, you know?
Yeah.
and that's sad. You know, it's very sad that, and that's like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, that it made like this vacuum of knowledge. You know, once he passes away, there's only so many people that we know of that can think on these levels and that are able to, what is the word I'm looking for? People who are just able to consume massive amounts of information and actually be able to understand what it is, and to be able to break that down, to teach that, and actually to put that into not just theory, but actually put it into action, you know, to make it make sense. You know, you learn a lot of shit in school and you just like, what the fuck would I ever use this for? He's the one would be like, oh yeah, you know, he's the one that would get excited about learning about shit that we would be like, nigga, I ain't never gonna use this. Like, he's just
exactly. Like, what the fuck?
Yes.
How long does it take to get to Maine from New York? What the fuck? I need to know this shit.
But he's one of those people, you know, he
like,
it's,
they're already like dogging Elon Musk.
no, they do not. People do not have time like for Elon Musk. I know that, to me, he's problematic. I get it. Yeah.
He's crazy. See, I shouldn't say that, but it's like he's something else.
He's very problematic. I will say that, but we cannot deny the fact that he is a genius. He's another one. That's like, this guy was like, well, Bill Gates isn't a genius. And the man was like, why is he not a genius? Like, just because he's smart in other aspects, that doesn't disqualify him from being a genius. Like, what are y'all doing? But
he ain't shit. He didn't develop Apple. I'm like, kind of he did.
That's the world. That's the world we live in. They was like, well, Steve Jobs is dead, and they was like, well, what about Woz? He's still alive. Like, y'all forgetting. And again, there's so many. And that's not to say that there's like a million people out there, but the way that knowledge has always been guarded, you know, and it's always been one of those things that is like a privilege to have, you know, they make it seem like it's just so easy to access everything, but it's not. You know, yeah, you can go to the library and you can pick up any book and you can check them out. They're free. But the problem is when you don't comprehend the shit that you're reading, or if you don't have anyone who can translate to you or talk to you, communicate to you exactly what this means in layman's terms, because a lot of shit that you read is too academic. Like, the words, like the way the words flow together, some people just don't get it. I read books sometimes, or I try to read, like I told you I was trying to read Wuthering Heights, didn't I?
No,
bitch,
I know it's hard.
It's too many words. It's too many fucking words.
Shit, I had trouble reading Canterbury Tales.
Right, but you know, I understand Canterbury Tales, why you had trouble.
I understood it, but I'm like,
but no, I'm saying I understood why you had trouble, because it's written like kind of like poetry. Wuthering Heights is supposed to be a fucking novel. Like, what the fuck? So, I mean, but that's the way that some things are written. You know, you read about different, you read different theory, like different kinds of theories in books, whether it be about, you know, space, or whether it be about biology, anatomy, whatever it is. I feel like sometimes they make things so hard to understand because they really don't want people to understand it, or they only want certain people to get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or they want you to pay $1 million to go to college so that you're a professor.
It's all bullshit, y'all. College is a pyramid scheme. Don't fall for it.
So your professor can break down in layman's terms what your book, like, how many professors have the time even use the books?
None. It was funny because my current professor right now, he was like, I mean, I have to tell you to get the books, but you don't have to get the books. No. He said, he was like, I mean, I'll just write a study guide online.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is you have you have open dialogue when you have classroom settings and when you're in college or high school or wherever. So you can always say, okay, this sentence says that. Let's really deep dive into what that means, because I really don't understand it in relation to the rest of the text. It's easy when you have that, but when you're just going to the library and you picking up a book, you know, and you don't understand what you're reading and how it goes necessarily with everything else, it's harder to put those pieces of the puzzle together. That doesn't make you dumb. It just means that you don't understand it the way that it's written. So there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of untapped talent out there. There's a lot of people who just aren't ever going to be able to reach their full potential when it comes to, you know, intelligence and academia and all of that, just simply because they don't have access to it. And that's sad.
Like you said, it's a privilege now.
It's like an elitist thing. Yeah.
It is, and they make it like when they see all these people who may come from certain backgrounds achieving these things, they're like, we must make it tougher. It just has to be us. That's what I think. I saw something online where they said, imagine how advanced we would be in like medical field or whatever field if we allowed people of color and women into these to certain academia.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
So imagine how advanced we would be.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to have different perspectives of conversations, like, you know, different people from different cultures. I mean, it's just exactly what we just said. Everybody would be able to discuss things to the level to what they understand it. It doesn't mean that, I mean, I'm not saying that if you put people in a room with calculus that everybody's going to be able to understand it if you explain it better. But I think that when you have teachers who are able to, or if you have students who do have the aptitude to learn certain things, if they had access to people who could communicate to them, then they could possibly be some of these big brain people. You know, they just need that opportunity to have someone to teach them. And that's not to say that they'll necessarily be on the level of Stephen Hawking, but how do we know? How do we know with the world that we live in?
You know, sometimes like it happens in a family too, where like, look at him reading books and shit. You
can be discouraged. Yeah.
By your own family. You're like, well, damn.
Yeah, and that,
just
you know,
they're different.
Yeah, it's.
You ever seen that movie, A Beautiful Mind?
Yes.
I like that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. It was really good.
Yes, that was a great movie. It's just really sad. It's sad that there's only so many people who are intellectually that smart, or who are, you know, as on a genius level as the few people that we have. Because if you think back in the day, and that's not to say that everybody was that smart, but they literally had libraries full of information that people wrote by hand. You know, they had people that's what you did. Like, and that's not saying that everybody was smart, but I think that they had more access to information that wasn't as not necessarily filtered down, because of course books were written by men, so they could change the story however they wanted to do it. But
yeah,
which is you know, textbooks telling you that Africans are migrants. But anyway, it was just different. It was different. And I think with the more technological advances that we have, the further we get away from having that connection with actually acquiring real knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, the things that we know are resourceful shit, but as far as like real knowledge, a lot of people don't have that anymore. Like, do kids even, like, do they do geography anymore in school?
I've never heard.
Me?
Well, no, oh, yeah, they do. My friend, she's a geography teacher for middle school. They spelled Virginia vagina. I think they was being silly, but that's what's going on right now. So,
like, I know at some of the public schools, they stopped doing spelling words, like at certain grade levels, like 4th, 5th grade. You know, basic shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, banquet.
Yeah, just...
Remember I told you about that?
it's like the more advanced, and I know people have said this before, but it's just like the more advances we make is kind of like the mushier our brains get. I don't know if that's really true, and I don't know if that's, that's not a scientific fact, I'm sure, because I'm sure.
Do you think we don't challenge as much? No. We oversimplify things?
Yes. Yep. I think that we do. I think that we take a lot of stuff for granted because, you and I have even said before, there's all kind of knowledge at your fingertips. And there is. Like, the internet is full of information. But how many people really know how to productively use it?
Yeah. One thing my father always told me, and what I try to tell people, is that if you do decide to go to college, use everything to your advantage, like including the libraries that's on campus and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Just use it. Use it to your advantage. Shit, you're going to end up paying for it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's libraries in the world that have books that are supposed to be important books, that it's only one of those books. Like, that's how books were. Mm-hmm. They were not mass produced books the way that they are now. Some books, there was only one made and they never made it again, and they never took it and was like, 50 years later, let's print this so everybody can see it. Like, there's information out there that we don't necessarily know about that may be beneficial to somebody, or you know what I'm saying? But it's like the further that we get with technology, which technology is an amazing thing. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, technology is terrible, but I really feel like we do depend on it too much, and we don't I think that we do use it like what you said. I think that we don't use our brains the way that we used to. I think that we rely on technology to do it for us.
Alexa,
oh my God,
how do you how many teaspoons make a cup?
And you never commit it to memory. Never commit that to memory.
No, you keep asking. That's how you do it.
Yes, you just keep looking it up.
Somebody told me never underestimate people's laziness, because that's where the money is.
That is exactly where the money is.
It was a show. It was a comedian. I forgot what his name. He was on Netflix, and was it Tom Segura? I think it was Tom Segura, when he talked about, he said, can you fucking believe there are beds now that like sit up for you? What the fuck?
How lazy are you that your bed has to meet you halfway?
I don't want to.
I'm too tired to lay down.
No, sit like how the bed lays up.
Yeah.
Sits up now.
Yeah. Like, I can't get down on my own. I need my bed to meet me halfway. No. Like, how?
If people bad this shit.
Yeah.
They bad.
Yeah. By and large,
I know
it's really crazy, and for all of those reasons, we just may not ever be able to have the type of geniuses that we have today. And that's not even to say that we have, because we don't have a lot of geniuses, and in history only tells us about the ones that they wanted us to know about too. That's another problem. So
interesting stuff.
Yeah. Now, speaking of geniuses, Denzel Washington is in a movie, and it's on Netflix, and he's like this recluse
Esquire.
Yes. Have you seen it yet?
No, I've heard about it. I think that was the one he got nominated for an Oscar for.
He was. I mean, like, I only saw Roman J. Israel Esquire is what the movie is called.
Yeah.
He is basically a lawyer that works for a law firm, been working for the law firm forever behind the scenes, because he's like a recluse, like a hermit. He don't really fuck with people, very introverted or whatever. He's been working for the head lawyer, I guess, at the law firm, or the head partner, whoever, the owner of the partnership, the firm, whatever. Been working for him for years, getting paid $500 a week for like 30 years. The man dies. Nobody even knows that Denzel Washington or Roland or Roman works there. Nobody even knows that he works there until they start trying to liquidate assets and splitting up the law firm and doing this and that and the other. So finally they figure out he's there. One of the other guys that owns another law firm, I do believe, he ends up taking on Denzel, and then they find out that he's like a genius of a lawyer. And he's been working for this man for like 30 years till now, like today, making $500 a week as a lawyer. Lawyers make like $500 plus an hour.
What?
And it's on.
I didn't know it was based on the true story.
Yeah,
first of all, and he's still working.
Yeah.
$500 a case is so easy. Like a what kind of lawyer is he again?
I don't know exactly what kind of lawyer he was, but the way that it was set up was he was basically consulting the other guy. From what I've read and understand of it. Now, keep in mind, I have not watched this yet. From what I understand, he was basically like, you have a law firm and you're like the head of the law firm. You're like the big fish lawyer, like the one everybody wants. Well, he's your consultant to tell you how to play your case. Like he's the one. He's like a savant when it comes to the law. Like you ask him for any legal codes or any type of rules or any type of precedents, things like that, and he can just like spout them off the top of his head. He's a genius, a legal genius.
Wow.
Yeah.
A genius walks among us.
And it's Roman J. Israel. I have got to watch it. And he looks so crazy. Like he looks so crazy.
I
in the
know.
movie.
Because that's where he got that from, that meme of him with the teeth and everything and his crazy hair, because that's why he was filming this movie.
Yeah.
That's why his hair and everything was crazy looking. So
yeah.
That's insane. I'm going to... It's on Netflix now?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch it.
No, not Netflix. I think it's on YouTube.
It is? I don't have YouTube TV.
It might not... Hold on. I'm going to have to find it. I'm gonna have to tell you where I found it. It might have been just regular YouTube, maybe. I could be lying.
Sorry, I was just reading about it.
You okay,
quick.
girl?
What was I gonna say? So, what else have you been watching on the Netflix or the YouTube that has broadened your mind?
Watching? What have I been watching? I don't think I've been watching a lot of new stuff. I've been reading lately. I haven't watched a lot of anything, but I did talk about books last week. I am supposed to talk about watch stuff this week, ain't I? I haven't watched anything yet. Luke Cage is coming out.
Yay! I'm so excited.
Yes.
That's another Netflix show, you guys, that we can... Oh, finally, like, how long has it been?
A year? About a year?
It doesn't seem like it. I guess because we're so excited.
I think it's been a year.
Been waiting.
Let me see. Luke Cage is coming out. Luke Cage season 2. Jessica Jones season 2 just came out. What, on the 8th, 10th, something?
Yeah, it came out last Friday.
Okay.
I still haven't seen the show. You said it's pretty good. Your bae's on there, I heard.
Which one? Which bae?
Julio.
Oh, he's on season 2?
No, he's on the new season now.
That's
why he got killed on...
I know, it says season 2.
So that's season 2?
Yeah, the Jessica Jones is just season 2.
Really? I thought it was like the 3rd season. But
no, this is her 2nd season.
Okay. Yeah, that's why he's no longer on Power anymore.
Please tell me he's not a villain.
No.
Okay, good. Good.
No, I don't think he is.
Okay. Well, Jessica Jones is out. Luke Cage is out. There's something else on Netflix, though, that I wanted to watch, and I haven't had the chance to watch it yet. Somebody was telling me to watch the Frankenstein Chronicles.
I've never heard of it.
It's about, I think it's like a mystery type thing, maybe a murder mystery. But it's called the Frankenstein Chronicles, so I assume that it has something to do with Dr. Frankenstein. I don't know. But Sean Bean is in it, so I figured it would be good, and I figured he'd probably die like he does in everything else.
Somebody made a video of, like,
all of the times
Sean
he died.
Bean dying and everything. Yeah.
And then there is Voltron is out with a new season. I want to say it's season 5.
You said Voltron?
Yes, Voltron season 5.
What's
the Voltron cartoon started a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. They came back out with the old Voltron, but like the rebooted version. And
yeah, I've never heard of
it. Is dope. I love it. But the new season's out. I haven't caught up with that yet. There's a show called Love that I watch on Netflix. There's a new season of that out, and I haven't watched it. It's a Judd Apatow movie.
Yeah, I just finished the second season.
Yeah, Love is good, but it's like a Britta. You know, Britta's in it. She's a train wreck.
Oh my god, I have to watch it in doses.
Yes,
like,
because she's such a fucking train wreck. Yes, and then Lovesick. So that's, and I think I've already talked about. Have I already talked about Lovesick?
I don't think so.
Okay, so this is why I gotta write shit down. So Lovesick is probably my favorite Netflix show right now. So I totally lied when I said I'm not watching anything, because everything else are things that I'm going to watch. I've actually been watching Lovesick, but I'm not quite done with it yet. And I've also been watching different Iyanla Fix My Life on YouTube, because I don't watch the show. So I'll get to that in a second.
Let it out.
Give your
I want to hear it.
Give your pain a sound.
Give it sound, honey. Give it sound.
So
let it out.
Lovesick is a British show, and are you sure I haven't talked about Lovesick? It's a Channel 4.
You probably did.
It's a Channel 4 show, and it's about these 3 roommates. It is a girl named Evie, it's a guy named Dylan, and a guy named Jake. I think his name is Jake. Anyway, at different parts of the show, they're all roommates, but they're basically like 3 buds, like 3 best friends. Well, Evie is this black girl, and they're all British. She's this really cute black girl. And then there's Dylan, who is like the quirky roommate, and then Luke, that's his name, Luke, and he's like the cute one, but he's like a playboy. They're all best friends. Evie's in love with Dylan, Dylan's in love with Evie, but it's like this back and forth. They can't be together just because of timing, and because Dylan's stupid, and girl, just all type of stuff. But the show is really, really, really good, and Evie deserves better is all I'm going to say. You guys should really watch. If you like romantic comedies, if you like raunchy comedy, if you love British shows, then I definitely recommend watching Lovesick. One of the things that I really like about Lovesick, and some people may not like this, but just like other British shows, I like that there are diverse cast members. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the love interests, or quite a few of the love interests for the guys on the show, are black women, and they're not your stereotypical looking black women. Like Evie is, she's a lighter complected, curly hair, what you kind of imagine some of the British girls to look like that are quote unquote, exotic looking. But then the other ones look like they're probably like African, probably, or first generation British or whatever, but they're darker skinned women, and they're pretty. And it's crazy, and not saying that they're pretty because they're darker skinned, but I'm saying they have dark skinned black women. Like that is that's amazing to me. You don't see dark skinned black women being love interest more than once on television shows. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when Michaela Coel came out with Chewing Gum. It made me so excited because she's a beautiful woman. She's living her truth. She's being as funny as she wants to be, and she's just this dark-skinned badass woman that's out here breaking all the rules, being as awkward as she fucking wants to be, and just being that bitch. So I love to see things like that. And when on this show, like a few of the love interests on there have been dark-skinned black women, and I'm like, yeah, for diversity on here. I don't know how British black people feel about that though, because I could totally be speaking out of turn. I could completely, you know what I'm saying? They might have an issue with that. I don't know. But in the U.S., we aren't used to seeing dark-skinned black women being love interests of light-skinned or white or any man. Unless
you just see like the villain, not the villain, but
exactly. I'm not used
as
to
like the sidekick.
Yeah, they're not. They always, you know, they always have to make us tropes. You know, it can't just be a regular smart black woman. Like Black Lightning, his wife is she's a darker brown complected woman. She reminds me of Issa Rae. She's absolutely like gorgeous. She's so fucking pretty. Like her bone structure is fucking ridiculous. But unless it's a black show and the daddy's darker, usually the mama's gonna be light, bright, close to white, or she'll be replaced like dark skin ain't Viv. You know what I'm saying? So that was another thing that I peeped about the show, and it made me like it even more. So but it's called Lovesick, and I definitely recommend watching it.
Okay.
Definitely. So I guess that was my what to watches this week. What about you? What are you watching?
Really not too much since I've been, you know, taking the break for myself. I've been like getting more rest, but I've mainly just like, I'll just watch like comedies on Netflix. I watched that movie I told you about, Message from the King.
With Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, your boo, Chadwick Boseman, aka Black Panther, aka T'Challa,
aka it was good.
Oh, woo! You know, when I saw that movie, I was like, oh my god! And he has like more weight on him in the movie, more meat on his bones. I was like, okay, Chad. I was like, ooh, he's strong. But I said, okay, Chad. But it's a good movie. It's like your typical like, it's not action packed, I would say. It's kind of like I wouldn't know how you would describe it. He's basically trying to figure out what happened to his sister. Like, of course, he plays an African character, a South African character on this movie, and he comes from South Africa to LA to figure out what happened to his sister. And I can say this, but she died. He's trying to figure out what led up to her death. Yeah, it's not a big like. Basically, you just, you know, he gets all these secrets. He finds out all these secrets, like what she was doing in LA at the time and jobs she was doing and who she was and the people around her at the time, the things they were doing. So it's pretty good. Like there is action sequences, not like something from Lethal Weapon. I don't know. But, I mean, he's choking niggas out with bike chains and shit.
Oh, shit.
I know.
Chadwick Boseman's doing it?
I know, it's so weird to see because he seems like such a gentle spirit.
Oh, wow.
But he's like choking niggas out with bike chains. Like he just, when he's ready to fuck somebody up, he pulls out this bike chain and just starts choking the shit out of people.
All the time?
Yeah.
Oh,
what happened? What happened to her? I was like, okay. Hey, he's good into choking.
Oh, yes. Choke me, daddy. Not with a bike chain, though. Nigga, what you doing with that bike chain? Quit playing.
But I watched that movie. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It was like a really small movie he did. I think he felt like he directed it or something, or he wrote it. But yeah, check that out. Okay. It's not. It was. I thought it was good.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been watching stand-ups.
Which stand-ups
have I watched? Tom Segura's. I finished Love. We just discussed that. I finished season 2 of that. I'll still watch Little Women of Atlanta.
Anything new?
One of the twins is pregnant again.
No. Didn't she? Hold up. She just had a baby a couple of years ago, though, right?
Nah, she had one last year too.
It was last year? Okay. I remember you told, like, we literally talked about this. You and Iyanla.
For 2 hours.
You and Iyanla talked about the...
I question Iyanla, why did she not know any of these women? Since she lives in Atlanta.
But y'all went into detail about this show, and I was like, I cannot believe y'all watch it. And to the point to where we were text messaging pictures of the characters, like little J-Lo, I think is one of them that y'all were talking about.
And their shoes.
Okay.
Yes. So I've been watching that. So one of the twins is pregnant, but she's like debating on to keep this baby because she's like, I can't do it no more. I can't do this. I can't do this. Sister, help me. And Little J-Lo has got into it with baby daddy number 2 because baby daddy number 1 came back into the picture. I know, girl, so much shit. And then one girl, she had a breakdown at the wig store.
What?
Because she didn't know, she was kind of scared to put on a wig. And so yeah, that's what's been going on in the Little Women of Atlanta world. I've watched that. Oh, I finished. I don't know. Is it 90 Day Fiance? No, that's not the show I watched. What was the show I was telling you about that I've been? Yes. I finished that.
This whole season's done?
Yeah, the whole season's done.
So wait, okay, so last time you told us about Love After Lockup, the kids went to the house, right? Wait, was that? No. What did
they walked?
What happened?
They walked in. Okay, so on the last episode, y'all might want to turn this podcast off for a little bit because I'm about to reveal some secrets.
She's about to spoil Love After Lockup. I think y'all safe. You ain't got to turn the podcast off. She said it like you revealing the Black Panther Wrinkle in Time. Spoiler alert, nigga. Spoiler alert.
So, old girl. Okay, so, like, old girl is, like, engaged to a Crip. Hold on 1 second. Somebody's calling me.
You did tell us that part already. Okay,
all right. So, you know, the kids come down to Oh, my God. Hold on. Sorry.
You're okay.
So the kids go down to Compton, you know, to meet their future stepdaddy, and it didn't go over so well.
And what's his name again? Remind us of his name.
Oh, I forgot what his name is.
It's like
he's a Crip. That's all you need to know.
Okay. All right.
Crip daddy. Crip daddy was like he's nervous. Stepdaddy Crip is like really nervous, you know, meeting the step kids. But the little girl, the youngest one, she's probably like 3 or 4. She's excited to meet her new Crip stepdaddy. And she already calls him daddy. That's not even his biological daughter. She's just excited to meet him. But, so they eventually get married. And the wedding cake was blue for Crip. She surprised them with that.
Shut the front
Yeah, he was
door.
so... They cut the cake and she said, "It's blue, baby, because you's a Crip."
No, she didn't. Mm-hmm. No.
Mm-hmm.
Are you being dramatic, or did she really say that?
She said that. She said, "It's blue because you's a Crip."
Isn't she a Mormon?
Yeah. Yeah, he fingered her in the car wash.
I remember that. We talked about... Oh, God.
Spoiler alert. Don't get... Who gets fingered in the car wash?
I cannot say that I have or have not.
And she was like, no.
Car wash is a pretty romantical place. It's magic.
To get finger banged.
Bang,
bang.
The car wash. At the car wash. All those suds coming down the window just gets me in the mood.
Get you
smelling like
wet.
New baby powder.
I want Egyptian musk.
Michelle Obama.
My God. But that's what's going on. I think they were the only... No, it was another couple that got married. One of them looked like he's the other couple got married, but he still lives in a halfway house. What? Yeah, it's another couple they got married.
So she did marry the Crip, the girl who got fingered in the drive shit. car wash did marry the Crip.
Yeah, they got married, and she had to move from Utah all the way down to Compton.
Bitch.
Because he can't go because he got arrested for
he's on
armed
the watch.
Robbery.
He's
on the watch, and he was like, "I can't move up there, girl. I'm on probation for 3 years." And she was like, "Well, what, you expect me to drop everything and move down here with you?" And he's like, "Yeah."
And so she did it.
Oh yeah, she did it. She dropped everything. She said, "But my daughter's in a choir. What about her?"
That's your concern?
And then the kids was like, yeah, one of the daughters asked him, did he ever drop the soap?
And what did he say?
And he said, prison is really hard, especially when you've been in there for like almost 18 years. I was like, okay.
So is that a yes?
That sounded like a yes to me. He was fucking somebody. Oof. And then one couple did get married. No, they didn't get married because her father would like put a stop to it. And I think that's about it. It ended on a good note.
Did it?
This season. Hey, everybody needs love, and Crib Daddy found love, and he seems happy. He's getting to know his step babies. They just gonna have to get over it. Their mama loves Crib Daddy. Yeah, that's about. What else? Oh, yeah, like Iyanla Fixed My Life. This new season, the first 2 episodes. Woo!
So, yeah, let's talk about those. So, the first episode of Iyanla Fixed My Life, Kamiya, is this who we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What's Kamiya's other name that her mother gave her?
Was it like Alexis or something like that?
So, basically, y'all, if y'all don't watch Iyanla Fix My Life, know, number one, that she ain't fixing nobody's life. Number one, she's basically telling them common sense shit that anybody who has half a Nat's brain would already know. Like, anybody who has the smallest bit of emotional intelligence would know that anybody who's been in a traumatic situation needs to talk through it, and they need to not run away from it and repress, because that will only lead to so many other issues down the line. Like, you basically have to face some of these issues before you become, basically, like she said, a walking time bomb. But the girl was stolen at birth, basically. Her mom was, so it was layers to the story. So tell me if I'm remembering this wrong, Lindsay. Didn't she say, or didn't they say in part of it, that her father thought her mother was a different age and didn't find out how old the mother really was until she was giving birth to the baby?
Wait, what? I missed that because the father looks way older.
Yes. Okay. So the father,
DMX.
So DMX is her daddy, and he's really not, but he looked like DMX's broke cousin.
Identical.
EMX. BMX.
Oh my God.
Okay. So anyway, the girl's name is Kamiya Mobley. She was kidnapped by not her mother. She wasn't kidnapped by her mother. She was kidnapped from her actual real mother when she was a baby, right after her mother had given birth to her. The lady that kidnapped her was a woman who I later found out from talking to people, because I ain't looked up and researched shit. So this is all hearsay.
Use your geniusness, girl. Use it. After we just had this discussion, I ain't looking shit up. The fuck?
Look, it's bullshit.
Just tell me. Believe in what anybody says.
Let me tell y'all something. The spirit of our show is do as we say, not as we do.
Oh my God.
So apparently, because I really didn't know that there was more to the story until yesterday. That's the only reason why I haven't had time to look it up. I just found out that there was more to the story yesterday because we were discussing episode 2, which led somebody to tell me more about episode 1. So anyway, apparently, or allegedly, the mother who kidnapped this girl had miscarried her own baby, and she went into like a kind of a psychotic state or depression or some shit, and she's like, I need to get me another baby. So she went to the hospital and she kidnapped this little girl and raised her as her own for 16 years.
It's
sad. 18 years. I'm sorry. 18 years. and raised her as, her name to the lady is, I think she named her Alexis.
Yeah, it's Alexis.
Alexis Manigo. And the reason why they found out that Alexis was stolen or kidnapped at birth is because she tried to get a job. Now, that part she did talk about in the show. She went out and tried to get a job, and she didn't have a birth certificate, no social security number, so her mama broke down and was like, look, bitch, I stole you. So, fast forward to actual Alexis Kamiya meeting her new family. I don't know how long that she's been with her family, but they took her to Iyanla to fix her life because, of course, she has issues. I mean, I'm sure, just like anyone else who was kidnapped at birth and then getting back with their real family, there's some type of underlying issues that are there. Not underlying that we don't know. We know what it is, but the biggest thing that shocked me about the show, where I was like, this little girl's not going to get the help that she needs, is because her birth mother, Lindsay,
she was 16 when she had her.
The birth mother was how old?
16.
So how old was the daddy?
That's one thing I can't find.
Because I could have swore in the beginning of the show.
He looks way older now. Let me see.
And keep in mind, it's been 18 years.
It must have been a tough 18 year. His name is Craig Aiken. I mean, they look like they had it rough. Her biological people. It looked like they lived a rough life. I'll say that. Let me see how old he is. Doesn't say, but I can't.
Well, I'd have to go back and watch the show. But either way, the baby was stolen from her. But so do you want to talk about?
Oh, he was in jail during the birth.
Okay, so do you want to talk about why the birth mother wasn't at Iyanla?
Oh my God! So here's the thing, y'all. The birth mother was the one that called Iyanla. Yes, the birth mother was actually the one to call her and tell them, like, fix our lives. But she didn't even show up because she didn't want to deal with it. Like, she didn't want to confront, not confront, but I guess the demons, would you say? Like,
she was saying, she said she didn't want to deal with it because Kamiya was still talking
to the yes she was still having a relationship with the person that stole her, that kidnapped her. She was still having a relationship with her, and the mother was like, no, I don't want nothing to do with her if she's still talking with her. And what does that say about you? Not Kamiya, but the mother. Like, girl, you the one that called. You the one to call. Her
name was Gloria Williams, was her name. The lady who stole her. But Kamaya's mama couldn't deal with the fact that she still wanted to have a relationship, and basically was like, she had these, and I get, and that's like Iyanla was telling the daddy, like, this ain't about y'all. This is about her. And that speaks volumes to that little girl's situation, or that young woman's situation, because it basically ended up being some shit to where Iyanla said she was going to have to trigger this girl because the girl was saying she didn't have any, she was basically just like playing it cool. Like, she didn't have any issues. She didn't really have a lot of feelings about a lot of stuff besides, she didn't really know who she was, whether she was Kamiya or Alexis. And the type of issues that she has my problem with that being played out on a Iyanla show the way that it is, it ain't something you can just like make a decision about on a show in this slot of time. Like, it's not like the show played out over weeks and she was trying to progressively get her to come out of her shell. Like, this was like maybe 24 hours at the most. So you mean to tell me you just met this little girl who just recently met her family after 18 years, and you're trying to ask her who she is as a person within like 24 hours of meeting her, and she's supposed to just tell you? So then the little girl snaps, like,
whew, because she said you ain't going nowhere.
But did you? Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you. So you know how, y'all, so Iyanla had told her family I'm going to have to trigger her because I really need her to show emotion. So I was like, oh shit. So when you trigger somebody, you basically push buttons that you know is going to make them get emotional. And boy, did Iyanla trigger her. She basically made it look like the girl's family left her there. So the girl goes off, threatens to smack Iyanla from what we saw.
Stab her.
All of that. So, Lindsay, did you read anywhere that it actually escalated between Iyanla's son and Kamiya before we saw, like when we saw Kamiya going off outside, in between that time in the house, she had actually got into it with Iyanla's son?
That I couldn't find anything on how she got into it with Kamiya's son.
With Iyanla's son.
I just know
I want to say it might be on YouTube.
That's what I meant. Yeah, Iyanla's son. Because I know, like, he has come in several times when guests have threatened his mother. And even the daughter, her daughter, they come in and, you know, they're kind of like security, basically. Of course she's going to have security on her, but when it becomes a threat and they getting up in her face, rah, 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 they come in and be like, hey, you might want to back this shit up.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I didn't. And then, like, I know that one of the camera crew, they kind of ended up injuring him. I don't know if he injured himself or Kamiya injured him.
But his foot was, what's the name?
Broke, yeah. Kind of broken. So that's when Iyanla was like, okay, we done. We done. When it gets to that point, she just ends it.
Yep. So there's some stuff that went on off camera that we were not there to see. And then we saw where she came in and was asking her crew how they were and how they were going to move forward based off of what just happened. And I was like, wait, what just happened? Why is he in a cast? So there was parts to the story that were not told on the story. But people, there's some stuff out there, and I sent it to you, and I'll put it in the show notes, guys. But there's some people out here talking about how Iyanla's son had threatened Kamiya. The father apparently went on the news or went on another talk show and told the story about how they paid for their own rooms when they got there. They had to pay their own traveling expenses, blah, blah, blah. And Iyanla's son threatened them. But the episode was just like... It's like any other Iyanla Fix My Life except for her being threatened. Like, I just don't see, like, I feel like the show, I love that people want to get help. Like, that's something that I definitely believe in. But I think it was better when she had the house, where they stayed over periods of days. You know what I'm saying? You can't...
Yeah, that's what she was doing before.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot, was it Lifehouse?
Yeah, yeah.
Before she was on Oprah, she did that show. It would come on, like, Saturday nights, like, after, like, Saturday Night Live. Yeah, because the Braxtons were on there,
remember?
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah.
But and not to say that... And I'm not saying that made reality TV any better, but I'm saying for something like any type of therapy like that can't be solved within like a couple of sessions played out on television. Like, that's something you have to continuously, to me anyway, I'm not a psychologist, but I play one on TV, or I'm not a behavioral therapist or anything like that. But from what I understand about psychology and about behavior is that you can't force people to make huge leaps that have, you know, especially people who have been avoiding mental health for a long time. It just can't turn around within an episode. And I know that her show is edited within a couple of days, a week at the most, but I don't even think it, I really don't think a lot of those even play out a week. Like Kamiya's situation, I say that one probably lasts about 24 hours, if that. I was just like, the type of therapy she needs is not going to happen on camera in one day.
Like, that triggering was way too soon.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, you triggering somebody right on the first night?
On the first session? And you just going to have her parents leave her? Girl.
And her boyfriend, no, he listens to me. Tell him to bring his ass.
And she's wild. Like, listen, like, she has her own set of the way she deals with stuff interpersonally. I have a feeling she was dealing with shit like that before she found out she was kidnapped. So she's a brat. Like, no if ands.
That's what she did. It looked like she got her way because like
that lady was scared.
Get her way. The mother was like, oh, okay, here you go. You go. So so she can to shut her up, basically.
Yeah. So she was probably bratty, to some extent, because, but then on top of that, she's angry, and she has the right to be angry. She has the right to be mad. She has the right to be pissed off. She has the right to yell and scream, because her whole situation is fucked up. Like, you were kidnapped from your parents, from a woman who you love. You grew up and you love this woman as your mother. That's the only mother you ever knew. You had a man who said that he was your father, but he half-ass took care of you, and then he goes on TV, and I didn't mention that, the guy who was supposed to be like who they thought was her quote-unquote daddy, he's on TV crying, talking about when he found out, he was heartbroken when he found out it wasn't his daddy, and she's like, nigga, you ain't even never take care of me. So I'm just like, fuck.
Ain't this fucked up?
So not only do you have real daddy issues, you got fake ass daddy issues too. Then you got your mama who don't even want to fuck with you because you still have love for the woman who raised you, and that's not your fault. Like, that little girl she is messed up, and I would never say anybody is beyond repair, because I don't know how that works. I would love to believe that people can be, their minds can be fixed, or hearts can be healed, or souls can be mended, or whatever. So I hope that there's something out there for her. But the way that Iyanla was trying to do it, I just feel like that wasn't the best way.
She had to, you know what? I'm pretty sure that the Kamiya, probably for years when she became a teenager, she was probably like, I don't look like anybody in my family. Or it makes you wonder, like, whose personality do I have? Just I'm pretty sure it kind of built up, it. I have a feeling like she questioned something, like something's not right. Like, why don't I look like anybody in this family, or have this type of personality or whatnot? That's one thing I wonder.
Yeah. It's definitely possible, but just to find out is devastating. I could only imagine waking up tomorrow and they telling me that my mother's not my mother. I'm still going to love her the same. I can't see myself not. It would take a long time for me, I'm sure, not to love her the same, because how could you not? That is the person that raised you, regardless of what they did. It's like we've talked about before. Does one mistake really say who you are as a person? And that's, how do you, how do you reconcile that?
Yeah.
Is it like, does that count as one mistake, or is that the same mistake every single day because you are continuously lying about, like, I have to say that's infinite. That's terrible.
That's a lie. It's on a lie. It's on a lie. Like,
every
her whole
day,
life was
her whole
a lie. Like,
life.
how did she do that?
Yes. That is so beyond selfish. But then when you look at the family dynamic that she's dealing with now, you know what I'm saying? Like, her daddy's scared because he's scared to handle her any kind of way, I'm sure, because he's so, probably sure he's just so happy to have his baby back, but he probably don't know what the fuck to do. And then the mama, you just don't show up to your child's therapy session because you're mad at her for still loving somebody who raised her. Oh, God. And the mama probably never really grew up because her child was so, like, the whole situation is fucked up. And I just really don't feel like Iyanla was the place it should have played out.
Like, a lot of seeing this show, several, I've seen a few episodes of her show, and I'm like, girl, not everybody's going to have the reaction you want within 2 hours of meeting your ass. Sorry. Let it out, child. Like, there was one I saw, it was very, very, very sad. It was like some sisters, and the mother, was buck wild. Girl, she ended up giving the sisters. Did you see that one?
Girl, the one where the sisters brought the mama there because the mama never really raised them, but the mother's trying to do right now. But one of the sisters was still mad at the mama.
She was molested by the person that molested the mother.
Yep.
The mother was like, oh, woo. Woo, that was probably one of the craziest ones.
And they did stay for a few days. They did stay. Yeah. Remember, they stayed in the house. Well, yes. Yeah. I did see that.
That was the craziest one.
I think you might have told me about that episode. That might have been why I saw it.
That was nuts.
So what about...
They even had one of the Jacksons.
Girl. I've seen more of this show than I let on, because I remember that episode too with the what's his name? What was his name? Growing Up Jackson.
Son. Yeah.
Him and his wife.
Girl.
And she was like, you was just with him because he's a Jackson. She was like, no, I'm not. I was with him because I loved him. She was like, girl, whatever. You was with him because he was a Jackson. I was like, a young...
And she couldn't answer. The girl, and she's like, then tell me why you with him then. She couldn't answer the She was like, And she's like, but how am I supposed to live? Take care of my kids? She said, get a damn job.
Get a job.
And I was
and then she's home calling him stupid and this and that and the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about episode 2, though.
With Memphis Hits, a.k.a. Mickey. That was... Y'all know who Memphis is, producer for a lot of...
The nigga from 106 and Park.
And the nigga from the Ampro jail.
Yeah, we ain't giving that nigga no accolades. That nigga is a nigga from 106 and Park, or Rap City, or whatever the fuck he was on. And he ended up
Rap City.
He ended up with Toya, and he was with K Michelle and beat her.
Michelle.
He abused K Michelle, and then he was with Toya. They got married, and now they're apart.
Verbally abused her, probably physically, but we just know he verbally.
Who knows? So go ahead and tell him about this episode.
So, his mother, asked Iyanla to fix my family and my son's life. So Iyanla was like, okay, girl, I'll do it. So, the mother is giving background as to why Memphis acts the way he acts, like violent, arrogant, why he's on drugs. And it comes to find out it's a very tragic story. Memphis' father was brutally murdered when Memphis was 19. His father was, I'm not sure if he was kidnapped, but he was murdered by a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Mm-hmm. He was shot, dismembered, and burned. Mm-hmm. And which is completely fucked up. It can break a person, break a family down, fuck them up mentally, of course. Mm-hmm. And I think Memphis was 19. This happened in 2001, and he had a really good father-son relationship with him. And after that, he didn't have that anymore, and so he just put, he never really showed emotion. They never really mourned the loss of the man in their life. Mm-hmm. So he just went to music his whole entire life. He never dealt with it, and he just had this built up anger, and I guess took it out on people around him, used drugs to cope. And so far his career is in the toilet, goes further in the toilet. And should I talk about one of the assignments that Iyanla made him do?
Nigga, the very first thing, the very first one. Shit.
So he dug himself in this hole, because the first thing he said, she asked him, so how did you get to where you are now? He said, my ex blank, he didn't, they bleeped out the name. They said, my ex lied on me. And she was like, come on, quit the bullshit. How did you get here? This is yourself. You dug in this hole. You cannot be blaming other people for why you at this point in your life. So she made him dig a hole, and he got in the hole, and she covered the hole up. And she said the only way to get out of that hole is you have to dig yourself out. And she took the shovel away from him and walked away. And
right.
He had to use his hands to
dig out the hole. And the thing, what was so crazy was, before she made him dig the hole, she said, so what was you doing to cope with all of your pain, after he told the story about his dad or whatever?
Bitches.
Bitch, this nigga doing every drug known to man. Every drug. Mm-hmm. And when he was naming them, because he was like, weed, I said, it ain't no drug. Then he said,
the weed.
He said, weed, coke, Molly, X. I was like, X's. Oh, shit.
Sands. He was just...
That nigga,
I was like, did he do her?
He was like, greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes.
And his mother was like, what?
Hey. Why did Iyanla? Okay, so when Lindsay said that Iyanla made him dig the hole, she went back and got the mama and the sister. She had the sister stand behind the mama just in case the mama passed out after she heard all the drugs Memphis was doing. She was like, so tell your mama all them drugs you was doing. Mama, stand behind your mama so she don't pass out. I said, oh, hell no. She's stupid. You just out here spilling everybody's tea.
And the thing is that the mom, she did not. So when the court case, was the proceedings of the court case happened in the death of his father, the murder of his father, the mother didn't want the son and the daughter, Memphis and his sister, to attend because she was like, it was too brutal. I'm like, they're adults.
They were adults.
I mean, I'm saying if they 5 or 10,
but they were
that's
adults.
a lot to take on. But he was 19, and I'm pretty sure she was probably like 16 or something like that. They were adults or, mid to late teens where they old enough to know, like, hey, you might not like to hear what this person did to dad, but you need to come. And the mother was like, I just didn't want them to get hurt. I'm their mother. I just want to protect them. She was like, they have to deal with the fact that their father was murdered. They have to figure out how to not move on, but cope with it. Like how to live with that their father was murdered and how he was murdered.
Yep. So that whole episode was, it started out with me laughing because I said, this nigga here.
Me too.
But it ended with me crying.
Let it out, Lish. Let it out.
I had to give
I need sound. I need sound.
Iyanla's trying to heal the whole family though, because the sister was basically the sister and the brother. They've just been running from their pain, and the mother, like anybody else, was trying to protect her children. I understand her not wanting them to be in the courtroom to hear every grisly detail. But like Iyanla said, they never really got to grieve and learn how to cope and all of that. I don't even know if they ever had counseling. Did they ever talk about that part? Did they ever have counseling for that?
He said they have not talked about it after the, they didn't have a memorial service until 3 years later. After,
yeah.
Like, Jesus. Like, I kind of teared up a bit when he said, when Iyanla told him, they had the picture up, like,
oh my God, he was talking to his daddy. Iyanla then went and got the funeral flowers.
Like the ones Beyonce had in her.
Oh my God, I knew you was gonna say it. She went and got a funeral arrangement with the daddy's picture and had Memphis talking to his daddy. And then after he starts crying, the sister comes in. She's like, I got somebody who's gonna help you out. So she brings the sister in. So they both in here crying. So she takes him outside. Okay, so they're outside crying with their backs to her. She's on the patio still saying, let it out. Cry. I was like,
I need sound.
I can't hear you.
He said, why? What did you say? I can't hear it. Why? I was like, she ain't shit.
She ain't satisfied until you got snot coming bubbling up out your nose.
Viola Davis would be great on this show.
Amazing on this. Listen, Cuba Gooding Jr. would kill on her show. So she, it ended basically with him taking the therapy. He took the therapy. Yeah, he went to a 30-day rehab program, and I wish him the best of luck. And what I was thinking about after I watched the show is whether or not the people that he has caused harm to have forgiven him. We, the public, at this point, if he is really seeking to change, if he really wants to change, I think that we as people, the way that we are in social media and all of those other spaces, we have got to do better with people. You know what I'm saying? Because we handle people rough. Mm-hmm. He's never personally.
What was the first comments they said on this show?
Oh, the first comment. Well, first of all, they wasn't handling him rough. They were saying, "I did not know he was that fine."
It was one episode I was recently watching for the Mitchell brothers, and the first comment was like, "Ooh, they have good bone structure."
The Menendez brothers?
No, the Mitchell brothers.
Who are the Mitchell brothers?
That was this was just a regular family. This wasn't celebrity family. Like, this was like kind of similar to the sisters. This was just with brothers.
Similar to what sisters?
The ones that I just talked about. The one whose mother, she didn't want to be a mother to him when she was younger, but she ended up giving him.
Oh, okay. So, people in the comments about that episode were saying how cute they were.
Yeah, how cute they were, how they had perfect bone structure, which they did, but I didn't really notice that until I saw the comments. I'm like,
But yeah, the first comments when I went and looked up the episode on Twitter just to see people's responses was, damn, he's fine. I was like, you know what? But what I was thinking was the way that we have, like, basically fuck Memphis has always been the response anytime anybody brings him up. But just like anybody, can people move past, or will we allow them, will the public allow them to move past their mistakes?
They have to. That person has to.
What person has to?
Like Memphis, he has to want to, like, do
Yes.
better in his life.
Yes.
Mentally, he has to do better.
So if
I'm sorry.
Right, and that's exactly what I mean. So say, for instance, he does, after everything that he has done.
I would be happy for him.
I'm not gonna be his friend, but
No. Man, if he's mentally can cope with his demons, what he did to people, and what has happened to him, you know, with his father and with his family, then hey, I'm happy he's mentally okay. I'm cool with that. If you can get through that or live with it, I wouldn't say get through it or whatnot.
But live with it, right?
With it and accept it. Hey, I'm cool with it. Hey,
and what
I'm happy for it.
What I was just thinking of is the court of public opinion, how we do people. Like, say, for instance, I don't know, I'm just going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to say R. Kelly.
You keep doing fuck shit.
No, this is what, let me finish. Okay. It's highly unlikely that this will ever happen. But say one day he woke up and he was like, I'm sick. I need to get help. I need to go to jail. I need to pay for my sins. I need to right the wrongs. Kind of like a 12-step program. Now, the people, right?
You are stupid.
But I mean, that's kind of how it is, because the people that you've done harm to, like when you've abused people before, just like when you've been like a domestic in domestic violence and you've abused somebody, wife beater, whatever, or when you're an alcoholic, you do seek forgiveness for things that you've done. Now, whether those people choose to forgive you, that is their option. They don't have to forgive you, but you've done your part as long as you genuinely have changed or are trying to change and you really do mean that you're sorry. That part's great. So if he were to go to jail, seek counseling, saw the error in his ways, repented to heaven, repented to God, and went out in these streets and tried to become an advocate and this and that and other, do we as the public, do we rally behind, not necessarily rally behind somebody like that, or do we continue to say fuck R. Kelly like we've always done?
No, I'm still going to say fuck R. Kelly. I don't give a damn.
Okay. What about Memphis? Do we give him a pass? Like, what if he became, because this is how I'm seeing it. People who used to be alcoholics and drug addicts, they go out and speak to people who are trying to not do drugs, or they speak to people like children and say, hey, don't do drugs, don't drink, because of X, Y, and Z. People who were former abusers, people who've committed crimes, people can change. You know what I'm saying? So once you make your mistake, regardless of what that one mistake is, regardless of how many mistakes that you've made, if you really do seek forgiveness, if you really genuinely do change and you really do try to pay your debt to society and you really do want to apologize and you really are sorry for what you've done, what do we as the public, what do we do with that? How do we
think of like our...
Not I was just saying, like, the worst person I could think of, like R. Kelly. Like, that's just,
oh my god! Like, I don't like the most damage, like somebody like him or fuck.
Or Bill Cosby,
the guy that killed Bill Cosby, or Fuck, let's see what the shit the dude that killed Memphis' father. Look at the damage these people have caused to families. Look what he did. I'm not saying giving an excuse to what Memphis has done, but look what this shit has caused. It's a ripple effect. So our molesters, what they've done to people, like, look what they've done. It's a ripple effect. It fucks up families. It fucks up the relationships these people want to be in. Abusers, like...
I agree. I mean, I
drugs.
agree that it is, but I feel like the same way that, like, you know, reformed alcoholics, they are still alcoholics. You know, you're still a sexual offender, but what if somebody really has changed? Should they? And maybe it's not really because I don't really know what I'm trying to ask. I just try to work this out in my head sometimes when I think about things that people have done, mistakes that they've made, things that they've done. Like, we talk about how the prison industrial complex is, how they really are not trying to reform people. What if some people really have changed? You know, do we only allow the non-violent offenders to come back and try to have a better life, or to try to change? Or do we really want people to reform? Everybody, the rapist, the person who murdered your mom, you know what I'm saying? Do we want the person who beat their child? Do we really want those people to reform? And if we do want them to reform, then what is their next step? Because they're going to have to live in society some type of way, or do we just throw them all in a prison? You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, that's not reforming them. Do we give these people a second chance? So I thought about that as I was watching Memphis, because like I said, I've always been like, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I hear his name, just because of what he is, as I'm watching this show, I had to remind myself, all of these people out here who are, you know, we always talk about hurt people. Somebody who is child molested, it's a strong possibility that they were sexually abused. You know, there is a ripple effect. Where does the ripple stop? How do you make them stop? That's I just think about stuff like that sometimes, like, as a society. And I hate that Memphis was the one that caused me to start thinking about this shit, because I was like, if this nigga's really I hate it. I hate that it was a nigga named Memphis. Memphis. I hated that it was Mickey who got me on this road, because I'm sitting here watching the show crying, and at the same time I'm sad for both him and
angry.
Yes, I'm sad for both him and K. Michelle and Toya and anyone else that he's ever hurt, but I'm also sad for him because he's been hurt. But I'm just like, what the fuck? You know, I want him
It's still not an excuse.
No, I want him to get help. And I'm like, so what comes next after he gets help? Does it stop, or does he try to reach out into the community to help people like him who's been in situations like him? And if he does, do we stand behind those types of efforts? Do we rally behind those people and say, good job? Yes, do that. Do more of that outreach. Like, try to catch people before they get to where you are. You know, look at these warning signs. This is where I was, so I know that that's what you're thinking, but please don't do it. Like, is that, you know, I just don't know how we respond to real reform. We talk about reform, but the only reform type people that I really know are like ex-gang members, or, you know, ex-gang member. Yeah, shit like that. Yeah. Crip daddy. Like, those are the types of people. But I ain't never had to deal with somebody who was an ex-rapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, but those are real people. Again, I hate that Memphis was the reason.
Is that weave he has in his head?
No, I think those are locks. I think they're legit.
Like faux locks?
No, bitch. I think they're legit.
I'm just saying.
And I hated myself for thinking, fuck, he's fine. I hated.
He looks like a young Teddy Pendergrass.
He has always looked like a young Teddy Pendergrass, but never as handsome. Like, he's never, you know how Teddy Pendergrass at any point in time may not have been that cute if he wasn't shaved that well.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Memphis has always been to me. I've never really thought that he was that attractive. I just thought he was handsome, but he looks great with this. Looks amazing.
You rubbing your nipples as you watch it. Cry it out, baby. Cry it out.
And he's a fuck nigga at its best. But I'm just like, I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, can fuck niggas be reformed? Like, can you come back from that? Like,
goodness.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. Like, I've never, that I know of, known someone who's raped someone and has gotten out of jail and turned their life around and has been able to maneuver and live through society. Like, actually went to jail for it. Not just like went to court and got the charges dismissed or did probation. Like, actually did time for the shit and the public knew about it. And then just is besides celebrities. Yeah. Like, that shit happens to celebrities every day. The presidents, Donald Trump, you know? Yeah. That happens for them all the time. Like, they get pardoned of their sins all the time. But I mean, like, the regular everyday person, like, you know, the little 16-year-old boy that raped somebody, he went to jail for 2 days or however they give people sentences for rape these days. Was it like a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't give them much time. You get more time.
If it's a woman, you don't get that much time. If you raped a woman, you don't get. No. If you did a little boy.
Oh, yeah, you get a little boy. It's like the rest of your life. You sell a bag of weed, you're easily going to jail for like 30 years. Rape a woman, it's like 5 years probation. But I don't, that now, my knowledge of, I don't know anyone who's had success in life after they've raped someone. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure that there are people who have done things as bad as rape someone, who have dealt with it, who has reformed, who has changed, who has done whatever type of religious repenting or whatever they've had to do. They may have apologized. You know, I'm sure that there are people like that in the world. But how do we deal with them in the public? Like, do we just let them become shadows in the world and just not recognize them anymore? Like, what do we do? Because we champion people who don't do drugs. And I'm not saying that doing drugs and raping people are the same. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that as a society that says, and we always tell people, you know, even if you have harmed somebody, regardless of, you know, hurt people fucking hurt people. We live in a world of sick fucking people. Sick people. And if people are given the chance to get well once they are well again, you know, and able to function and move throughout life, what do we do with those people? I don't know. But as I was watching Memphis, I was just like, fuck you, nigga. And then I was like, damn, your daddy was killed. Fuck.
I know. Like, the thing is, like I said, I would have thought I would have heard about this
girl.
crime.
And apparently he's told the same story on the marriage boot camp thing too. So this is something he's been going through for a long time, but it's just never been properly addressed. Or maybe he's just never sought professional help for it, or he just wasn't receptive to it.
Mickey Wright, that's his name.
Yeah, Toya Wright.
Yeah. What the hell? And that was like that was the second dude she married. Goodness. Because I knew one of the dudes she was with. I went to school with one of her guys, but it's crazy. It's sad.
It is. It's sad all the way around. Like you said, like it's a ripple effect. And you never know how it's going to manifest itself. You know, you would think if you really were like, you know, oh, his dad was killed, so he's going to end up killing somebody. No, he ends up fucking taking his anger out on women.
But I know we discussed this privately, but why is it always women, though?
I don't know.
That we know of.
Is it because...
We've talked about this off.
Well,
here,
right. We have talked about this before. I mean, it could be a lot of different reasons why. I don't know. I mean, it could be because
something with him and his mom's relationship,
right? Or? Could it? I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, why are you like? How is this? And however it manifests, you know, it manifests. But that's how it is. Maybe
you would have thought he would be attacking white people.
Yes,
that's what I would have thought. They would have went towards white people.
But maybe
I hate you white people.
Maybe you're right. I mean, again, I'm not a psychologist. I do play one on TV. Maybe he's mad at his mama. I don't know. But it's crazy. It's crazy to see, to see that. I mean,
like, I honestly would have thought when I found out about his father, like, I was kind of like, shit, if this is the case, I would have thought.
Nigga, like, in this day and age, I would think that you would, but you're mad. Like, he had a creative side, so I'm sure he was channeling a lot of his anger into his work and pain, yes, into his work. But at the same time, he was just too immature and didn't know what to do with those emotions.
Some people don't know how to handle the industry, handle what they're given. They don't know how to handle the talent that, God has given them.
I know,
especially
when mine.
We all know, Lish. We know you won that contest in spring break of 2001. We know that.
I hate you.
You have banners and stuff all here.
I can't
oh my God.
You.
Goodness.
But yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
I hope he does get, like I said, I hope he gets the help. I really do. Like, if somebody's been through some shit like that or has done the shit like that to people, for the love of God, get help. Get help. Or if you see somebody going through some kind of I guess it's the way you go about suggesting help for some people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just kind of like, hey, man, you all right?
Nigga, you need some help.
Here. Does Charter still exist?
Charter what? Communication?
Hell, call 1-800-CHARTER. You don't remember those commercials?
Oh, I do. The hospital.
Yeah, the hospital.
I don't know if Charter still exists, but girl, I don't know. It was crazy watching that. So that was episodes 1 of 2 of Iyanla Ain't Fixing Shit. I like the fact that people want to get help. I just don't really feel like she's helping anybody.
Let's see. I'm reading about, like, because I know we were trying to figure out how his father was, not how he was killed, but how did that ever happen? Because we were like, was he kidnapped?
Yeah, what was it? What was it? Because he said that people were asking me where my dad was and you were missing. But I was like, is he talking about when his dad was dead, or is this before they even knew that he was dead? Because it had to have been a point where they didn't know where he was. Because it ain't like anybody called and was like, hey, your daddy's dead. You know what I'm saying? So I assume that before they found out he was dead, they thought he was missing.
She also has,
because the man murdered him and beheaded him, and he what's the name, his body, cut his body parts up and burned them in one car and then scattered the rest of his.
Okay. She said Mickey Wright, a code enforcement officer in 2001, he was never seen again after going to Del Martis, which is the murderer, Ku Klux Klan guy, to his business about a code violation, and he owned a car lot. Mm-hmm. So that's probably what happened. He was probably taken from there. Somebody probably called in. You see neighborhoods have, shit's messy from a neighbor. You call your code enforcement people to, serve them. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what happened. He went to serve them and was never seen again from what I'm heard, because somebody said we never saw that guy. I think he was left on that assignment, and probably his work was like, we can't find this guy. He hasn't been back. Mm-hmm. So that's probably, that is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it happened.
But that's sad.
That's so sad.
It's sad, and that's not for us to have all of this sympathy for him. But people don't. I mean, and that's not all the time true. Some people, if something is just,
he got life.
That man did. But some people, mm-hmm. some things drive them to be the way that they are.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's on the Department of Justice website. Goodness. And he pled guilty for racially motivated attack. They confronted Marty's with the new information. Marty's confessed Because at first he tried to deny, but they found evidence that he did kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. But, yeah. That's what's going on in Iyanla Fix My Life world that we've been watching.
Iyanla ain't fixing shit.
No, but like I said, her wardrobe.
Hey, her wardrobe be banging. She is peak auntie. She's peak auntie. Do you hear me? Like when I want to... Her mules. Iyanla's wardrobe, she is low key the baddest bitch on OWN network.
With her
including Oprah. Do you hear me? Iyanla's wardrobe. She be having the cute little short jackets and the cute tops, and I'm like, okay, Iyanla, bitch, you killing that shirt. Like, she be having the cutest clothes on and ain't fixing. But we've already talked about that before, about how she always dressed cute and ain't fixing nothing.
No, she'd be like, look at me. I don't know about y'all.
And you know what I used to love about her is I used to read her books, her daily affirmations books. Mm-hmm. And I think that she's good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was back in what, the 90s? Mm-hmm. Late 80s, 90s?
Because first she was like big, but then she lost it all, and then she got, big again.
Well, she lost it all because of that thing with her and Oprah, wasn't it?
Yeah, her and Oprah beef for a little bit.
Yeah, so that's when she kind of lost her notoriety, because she was kind of like Oprah's spiritual guru, and then they have fallen out about something, and then they made back up again. But anyway, yeah, I used to read her daily affirmations when I was really into my Pan-Africanism back when I was like in high school or right after high school or some shit. And I was like, Zulu running from the magic. Remember Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob?
I knew you was going to say that. I can't stand
Zulu running from the... Okay, so anyway, so back in those times, I used to like that type of stuff about her. And I can see her still being someone... She's like an auntie. She's not... The way she handles people, she handles them like the auntie that you go over her house and she makes you something to eat and tells you about yourself. Mm-hmm. She don't handle her...
You're fucked, you're courting, you're sleeping with men. She can just smell it on you.
Yes. She doesn't handle herself like a professional therapist. That's the thing. And like some of this stuff that she does with these people is the shit that I just feel like shouldn't be happening on a professional level. Like loving on them and stuff, that's cool. Hugging on people, like, oh, give me some love. Like, I love all of that because I really think that human connections in a lot of cases can really help. But are you supposed to be a professional? Is she not a professional therapist?
I don't know what the...
Because she be bringing in therapists at the end for people if they want it. That's the only reason why I ask. I don't even know.
I guess she's like the gateway.
Okay.
Like, to calm them down. Like, hey, I'm like your auntie. Come on, let's see help.
Is she calming them down now? That's the problem.
No, it just says that she's an American inspirational speaker, lawyer, and spiritual teacher.
Okay.
And life coach.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Okay, I mean, I could see her,
Right, that's
talking.
what I'm saying. And like that little girl shouldn't have been at her house. That's what I'm saying.
No. No. She went to Medgar Evers College.
Like,
Virginia Union
the
University.
way she handled Memphis was perfect. Like, that was perfect for him because she had to get on his level. But that girl, no. She needs, like, a professional.
Yeah.
And
let me see what she wrote today, beloved.
Hello, beloved.
Let it out, Lish. Let it out.
And I love that her voice is like a straight up Barry White. Like, I love that about her. Hello, my love.
You not doing it. Because I remember I used to see her on Oprah. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, on the Oprah show.
Telling Oprah about her ass.
See, you think that you the shit, Oprah. Nah. I'm like, oh my God, here comes Iyanla.
Here she come.
I remember seeing her on there. I'm like, oh shit, here she come. Talking that talk.
And I know that
you should be one.
I should what?
You should be like a life coach.
Listen, bitch, I'm in the Me and my friend Sauda, for anybody who knows her, Lindsay, I know you know her, but we are in the let me tell you something stage of our life where we can tell girls younger than us anything that we think sounds wise, like unsolicited.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah, fuck him. Like, that's where I am with my life. Like, starting today, like right now, I have delegated myself as the let me tell you something auntie that did, like, you didn't ask me for none of my advice and I'm giving it all to you. Like, anytime you be like, I'm like, hey Lindsay, how you doing today? You be like, I'm all right, I got a headache. Girl, what you need to do.
I'm like, bitch, I just said I got my headache. My sinuses hurt. Nah, bitch, you're crazy. That's what's wrong with you.
That's what's wrong with y'all now.
Like, bitch, did nobody ask you?
Every unsolicited, everything. I'm going to give so much. So
wow, her and Oprah didn't talk for 11 years.
Yeah, they didn't. I'm going to give so much unsolicited advice. Like, I'm going to be the one in the mall when the little girls walk past. Hey girls, y'all look cute, but let me tell y'all something. Or I'm going to be listening to their conversation as they shopping and I'm shopping. I heard what you was over talking about, and I just want to say, because see, I'm at the OG status. I'm 41. I feel like I'm OG status. These young niggas let 41-year-old men tell them what to do, so I feel like there's a space for people like me.
Oh my God, they ain't shit uncles.
Yes, they let ain't shit uncles tell them fucked up information, like, all the time. So I am appointing myself as a delegated O motherfucking G. Jesus. So just know that I'm about to start giving y'all niggas all the unsolicited advice, right or wrong, for every situation.
I believe in you. I think you can do it.
I think I can. I started tonight on Facebook. I had to start tonight on Facebook by telling these niggas to quit explaining to everybody why they ain't going to the fucking Beyonce concert.
I'm going to tell you why I ain't going.
I was just like, who fucking cares whether you go? Like, I felt like people were really trying to, like, they were trying to keep their place in the beehive without stepping on toes by saying, bitch, I've already seen her 30 times and I just ain't got the money for this one. Mm-hmm. But people were like, see, I want to go, but whoop, 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 and then like giving PowerPoint presentations as to why they could or can't or whatever. I was just like, y'all, just fuck these people. You either go or don't go because it's only a concert. And
yeah,
you ain't got to explain to people why you not going to this motherfucking tax return concert.
Hell, I thought, shout out to Joe Nika. She was like, hey, you want to go? And I'm like, it's not in the budget. As quick as it's it. Just say it. It's not in the budget.
It's not in my budget. Like, if your concert is over $35 in the Lord's year of 2018, it ain't in my budget.
If I can watch your shit on YouTube or have my friend Periscope this shit,
I ain't even gotta have them do that. Your shit
still ends up on HBO? No.
I ain't even got to do none of that. I don't have to even see it, honestly. Like, if your concert tickets, I don't give a fuck who it is. It could be Kendrick. It could be SZA. It could be Sade at this point in my life. If your concert tickets are over $35 and you're a multimillionaire, I ain't gonna see you in concert.
That's what I understand. It's like, why is your shit so expensive?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
And I
charge
y'all $900 to sit way away from the stage.
Hey, more power to you if you can afford it. I ain't gonna talk about you. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about you if you go, because I feel like people should be able to spend their money the way that they want to.
How they want to.
Yes, it's your money. You spend your money the way that you want to. But I know for me and my family, I can't afford to keep paying millionaires all of this money. It's like I was talking about on one of my makeup videos I did the other day. Not like an actual video, but I was on Instagram Live. There's a makeup palette. It's an eyeshadow palette that I saw. Natasha Denona. Okay.
She $800.
This motherfucker's $129 for an eyeshadow palette.
Is it the new one?
Yes. And the motherfuckers,
all of them shit.
And the colors ain't even that vivid. This is my thing. And this is what I said on there. I'm not going to be spending all my money on high-end cosmetics when celebrities get this shit for free. That doesn't make sense to me. Why in the fuck would I be out here running around giving my money away and you're giving shit to celebrities for fucking free? That don't why? No, bitch. If you really cared about the regular everyday person, you be giving us that shit for free. Like,
because they give it to other people too. They ain't even gonna put it on they.
That ain't even
shit.
Every time I see Kim Kardashian open up a fucking PR box, I think to myself, bitch, you did not need that. Like, most of everything that these multi-million-dollar celebrities have as far as material shit, clothes, makeup, jewelry, purses, all of that shit was free. Because they're walking advertisements. But guess who ain't gonna buy it? Me. I can't afford that.
I'm like, who's gonna buy a Gucci dress? Who?
Not me.
I mean, I guess I guess it's not for me.
No, it's not for me. That shit is not made for me. And I love fashion. I love makeup. I love cosmetics.
I like looking at. I can look at it all day.
I can look, but that's out of my price range is what I'm saying. It's out of my price range, Natasha. $129 is unreasonable for fucking eyeshadow, especially eyeshadow that's not even that fucking pigmented. Bitch.
Yeah, it didn't have good reviews. I watched one review. That girl was going off.
Like, people were putting it on like she has this one blue and this green. And I was like, well, I'll just buy a blue and a green because every other color in the fucking palette, I have colors in 30 other palettes like that. So I was like, well, I really like that green and blue. And those were the two I was really interested in seeing what they look like. Makeup Shayla did one, and the blue looked pastel. What? $129?
Yeah, they said online. They look more vibrant online versus when you get them in person.
Yeah, and then the formulation is kind of weird. They said it felt kind of waxy. $129 though, bitch. Are you crazy? I will get me a $10 Makeup Revolution palette, and be okay. Like, no. I have splurged before on cosmetic stuff. I have. But I feel like something like eyeshadow, like, come on. That's not even something that's going to break my face out. So what that's telling me is I can use a cheap eyeshadow. That's what I mean by that. Like, foundation, I think you should be kind of cautious of the foundations you're using because that can fuck your skin up. Like, bad formulas. There can be some fucked up formulations of some eyeshadows that you can be allergic to. But the chances of $129 eyeshadow and a $4 eyeshadow really being that different, and how to apply makeup is slim. Like, I know how to put makeup on. I can make it Wet n Wild work. Like, I'm good. Now, my foundation, on the other hand, I might have to invest a little bit in that. I might need to invest a little more in like lips because every lips are not made the same. They're not.
Oh, yeah.
They're just not. The formulations for lips, they're not the same,
Concealer.
Yeah, concealers, stuff like that. Even fingernail polishes, like a 99-cent fingernail polish is not the ticket. Like, no.
Sinful Colors versus butter, which I love. I love butter nail polish.
Yes. But, eyeshadow, though, bitch. L'Oreal makes eyeshadows all day long. You can mix. Do people know that they can mix colors to get colors? It's just like fucking elementary school with paint. Like, if it's a color that you like and you have like a halfway decent eyeshadow brand and you need a color, just mix two fucking colors together and make it. I'm not paying $129 for an eyeshadow palette. I'm sorry. I'm not.
We said this before. These drugstore brands are coming up.
Yes. Like, no. All you need is a good eyeshadow base and set that shit. Like, no. How long you gonna be wearing your eyeshadow, sis? Where you need a $129 eyeshadow palette? I'm not gonna know that's Natasha Denona when you walking down the street.
It's Natasha Denona.
Bitch, that's to me, the only people who should be buying... She's a makeup artist. The only people who should be buying her palettes are other makeup artists who charge per face.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be making your money back. And in the case of this palette, leave that motherfucker where it is because you got better colors in other... Like, you get Makeup Geek, MAC, Morphe, anybody better pigments than that shit.
I guess it's just one of those things you... Well, no, never mind. Yes, I have $129 eyeshadow palette. Why ain't you wearing it?
Why ain't you wearing it? Bitch, I'm wearing that bitch every day. Like, Pat McGrath has expensive eyeshadow palettes, but from what I hear, they're worth it. Like, because they're highly pigmented. But again, I ain't paying for it. I feel like people who do makeup, though, or if you wear makeup every single day, then yeah, go ahead and get that. But from what I understand, her shit is worth it because the shit, it looks good. Natasha, your shit don't even look good. It just looks good in the packaging. I can buy a fucking...
I think a lot of people are saying it. Like, a lot of people are just glamming up the packaging and whatnot now, which is why it costs so much these days. Nothing wrong with having a good package, like your eyeshadows.
Yeah.
In a safe package to where, you know, it's least likely to... If you accidentally drop it, it's least likely to, I guess, break up or crack or what have you. Nothing wrong with that. Yep. But to charge $129 for it...
Bitch. When somebody else who has a cheaper brand who's probably using the same lab that you're using...
That's the thing.
You a lie. And the truth ain't in you. If you think I'm going to spend $129 for some motherfucking eyeshadow that you just gave $1 million, somebody who makes $7 million a year, you just gave it to them for free? Bitch, are you crazy? I'm not one, listen, I'm not one to keep up with the Joneses. Not at all. I do see stuff in cosmetics and I'm like, I got to have it. I got to have it. But I stay within a certain price range.
And you're like, but it doesn't look like how it on me, like how it looks like on her.
Right. Trying to pay $129 and this shit look like powder. I'd be heated. Heated.
Yeah. I haven't seen, to tell you the truth, I haven't really seen any good reviews on not Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona.
Me either. I've seen of her other ones. I've seen her mini palette. I saw a good review. She had two Christmas palettes, and they were mini palettes, and they came in a group together. I saw a good review on that. And then she had like a lavender, I think that's what it was called, and a sunset palette. I've seen good reviews on those. But they were basically saying it shit's high, and you could probably get dupes cheaper. Like, you could get Huda Beauty cheaper. And Huda is...
I have a palette that's pretty damn good that my dad got me for Christmas. I forgot where he got off of it, but it has everything in there, and the eyeshadows are pretty damn good. But if he didn't pay like $129, he probably at most paid like $40, and that includes like eyebrow, I guess, pomade. It has the lip glosses. It has blush. It has everything in there.
Yeah, but you just got to know how to make that shit work. Like,
I don't know how my father made it work, but he
make it work.
Lindsay, I'm just saying.
You
could be a little bit better.
I just got you these warm tones because your undertones.
To bring it out, you know, you got some little yellow and reddish right here, right there. I'd be like, okay, Daddy.
You are stupid.
I just can't. This man is nuts. I'm still can't get over the fact what I told you, with how he told me to.
We don't have to save that for another episode because that was too funny, and we have to talk about that. We have to talk about that on another episode because that was hilarious. I had to tell our buddy about that gin today, and she was cracking up. About, hey, sunshine. She was dying. She said, yeah, that sounds like me. I said, yeah.
I heard you had an episode.
Yeah, I heard you. Could you call me at this number? So anyway, before we go, because we're almost at our time for the evening, is there anything else that you want to say before we peace out?
Thank you all for listening to Unscripted Podcast. Check us out on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on Snapchat. And what else are we on?
Instagram.
Well, we're mainly on Twitter.
Yeah, we're mainly Twitter and Facebook.
And also, please, guys, my girl Lish has put up a petition for us. About
call to action, people, call to action.
Please, guys, check that petition out. I'm pretty sure you guys are sick of the hair weave bundles.
Virgin hair Instagram accounts have got to go.
Yes, they have got to go. I don't know how many times we block them every day, from our account. So please check out the petition. Go to our Twitter page, read about it. Check out our Facebook page, read about it, sign it. Let your voices be heard. This is the only way we can make it stop. Or you could be like me and be petty and stalk them. Yeah, check that out. Go to our website, unscriptedcast.com, where we have blogs, videos, comment, leave us a message through our website. Check it out. Please do that. Listen to more of our episodes on Libsyn, iTunes, for our newer ones or older ones. And again, talk with us on Twitter or Facebook. Like, we there. We answer. We may be working, but we'll get back to you. Don't worry. We will.
We will. We absolutely will.
Yeah, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. That's pretty much it.
Cool. And like Lindsay said, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will be back next week. And that is it. See you guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace.
Bye.